false positive, false negative video. A drug is 94% effective at detecting drug use. It also has an 89% true negative effectiveness. Suppose 2% of the population use drugs. Part A, if you test positive for drugs, what is the probability you do not use? Part B, if you test negative for drugs, what is the probability you do use? Use a population of 100,000 to create your table. All right, I think we have enough room here to go ahead and create our table. So we have you use drugs or you do not use, right? That's on this side. And you can expect, if you use drugs, I would think you would expect to test positive. If you do not use drugs, you would expect to test negative, right? And then we have our totals. Problem tells us to use a population of 100,000. 2% of the population use drugs. So 2%, let me change colors. 2% of the 100,000 gives us 2,000. So if 2,000 use drugs, that means 98,000 do not use drugs. Okay? Now, it talks about effectiveness. So, 94% effective at detecting drug use. That means if you use, 94% of the time it will tell you it's positive. So 94% of those 2,000 people, and that gives us 1880. Well, if you subtract, you end up with 120 here. It also has a true negative effectiveness. Where's that at? 89%. If you do not use, you would expect to test negative. So 89% of the 98,000 is a true negative effectiveness, and that is 87,220. So again, by subtracting, you end up over here with 10,780. So that's using the true positive effectiveness, 94%, and the true negative effectiveness of 89%. When we add vertically, I get 12,660. I add vertically in my negatives, and I get 87,340. Then we are ready to do A and B. So part A, you test positive, but you don't use. So we're looking at the positive column, right, this column. So our 12,660 is our total, but we do not use. So we're going to use our 10,780. So 10,780 because we do not use, but it was the if we test positive, so it's a conditional probability, and we end up with 0.852. So you have an 85.2% chance of not being a drug user if you test positive. Part B, if you test negative, what is the probability you use? So we know our total negative testers is 87,340, and the ones that use is 120. So when you divide, you get 0.001, which would be 0.1%.